bringing us together here today. I am always proud of Sacramento in our worst moments because we stand for and with each other always, and it's reflected behind me here today. What happened in Atlanta is sickening and despicable. It needs to be called out for what it is: a crime of hate, a crime of racism, a crime of misogyny. So we gather here in another press conference. And I want to say to you that as proud as I am to be with you all today, I'm frankly tired of all of these press conferences. We need nothing less than a revolutionary commitment to stamping out white supremacy in law, in enforcement of the law, in public budgets, in education, in using the courts to expand civil and human rights, not shrink them, in every public and private aspect of American life. Nothing less. Is it any wonder why we must gather here today again, as Senator Pan reflected a moment ago? Is it any wonder that we must gather here today when we know the history of the Page Act in 1875 that barred Chinese women from entering the United States, or the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act? Is it any wonder why we must gather here today when less than 2 centuries ago in this great democracy, this flawed democracy, that our California Supreme Court said that people of Asian descent could not testify in court against anybody who perpetrated a hate crime against Asian Americans? Is it any wonder then when in 1871, 18 Chinese immigrants were killed by a brutal Los Angeles mob that no one was prosecuted? Is it any wonder why we must gather here today when, as Senator Pan reflected a moment ago, in the lifetimes of our elders, we imprisoned 120,000 Japanese Americans because they were Japanese Americans? Is it any wonder why we must gather here today when we just ended the presidency of someone who elevated hate talk against Asian Pacific Islanders in every way and linked the terrible COVID virus with outright racism? It all leads us to Atlanta, Georgia. And what brings us here today? White supremacy is a sickness, but sickness can be cured. And what we stand here to say today loud and clear is that in every form of power we have together, in every venue, we must do more than our part, not just our part, more than our part to stamp it out, nothing less. It is my honor to introduce my colleague, City Council Member Eric